the last of the four brahma viharas. And you all know the Buddha liked to organize his teachings into lists, right? The Eightfold Path, the 10 Paramis, the four brahma viharas. And these lists are a great way to organize and present the teachings. And they're really helpful to remember them as well. But in my mind, the lists create kind of a sense of linear thinking, that one quality on the list follows another sequentially. And we have a tendency to teach them one at a time, because it's important to understand each element on the list. But the more I practice, I see these qualities as being more intertwined, more dynamically flowing into and out of each other. And I like to think of it kind of like a dance, very three-dimensional and always moving. And this is especially true of equanimity. Although it's the last on the list, we don't have to wait to invite it into our practice. We can bring it in as we practice metta, compassion, and joy right now. Some say that equanimity is really the foundation on which the other brahma viharas rest. It dances with each of the others, enriching and deepening them. It enables our hearts to be more steady and purely responsive to the world inside and the world outside of us. So I want to explore a bit more closely how equanimity works with and enhances the other brahma viharas. When metta rests on equanimity, there's more room for warmth and kindness. We can wish for the happiness of another with no strings attached. We can offer care and warmth without trying to fix anything, without having attachment to outcome. So there's no inclination to make it other than it is. Think about watching a toddler learning a new skill, like tying their shoes. It's pretty easy to feel metta towards the child, watching them experiment with the laces, making loops and such, and how quickly the urge to fix it arises, to intervene in the experiment and show the child how to tie their shoes. Metta, imbued with equanimity, might allow us to take a breath, to not reach in, and to let the child learn and discover for themselves. Metta, imbued with equanimity, helps us to develop a patient heart. I think about my own experiences taking piano lessons as an aging adult. And my capacity to make the connection between what I read on the page and what my hands do is so slow. I might practice the same measure 10 times and still I struggle with playing it. And it used to be that I would get really frustrated. I had all these self-critical thoughts, and playing became really a chore. It wasn't fun. So interestingly, it's my meditation practice that's helping me learn to accept, to maintain a friendly stance towards myself and recognize this is the way it is. Finding patience with my aging brain. And happily, I really enjoy my practice now. I'm not trying to get anywhere, to be better than I am, and I can enjoy this very slow learning process, just as it is. This is metta and equanimity together, growing a warm, steady, and patient heart. And how does equanimity support compassion? It allows us to be with and to be steady. If we haven't trained our minds to stay steady, we often have the inclination to turn away pretty quickly from the pain and distress we encounter. And that's pain within us as well as the suffering of others. And equanimity encourages us to accept, without judgment, the choices we or someone else has made, even if it has led to suffering. With compassion, as Christina Feldman says, the heart remains open and responsive, trembling with an unshakable commitment to relieve suffering no matter the cause. And equanimity allows us to stay open-hearted and caring without burning out, without judging, without making things right or wrong. It provides the balance we need to stay. As many of you know, I work at a palliative care facility, and I see this kind of presence in the staff that work there every day. When they enter a room, they face whatever is there, and sometimes there's joy and celebration of a life, and often there's suffering. The struggles of the patient, as well as the pain and distress and sadness of family members and friends. Some situations are incredibly sad. It might be a child dying while the parents sit at the bedside. While at other times, unresolved issues may resurface within a family at this poignant time, and the room is just full of tension. Whatever is there, the staff is always there, and they stay there, not turning their backs. They stay steady and do what they can to alleviate whatever kind of pain is present. When I walk the halls, I can feel this. There's an atmosphere that permeates the building, and it's one of the reasons I really like to work there. Just as importantly, the staff are given really great leeway to take time for themselves when it's needed. There are plenty of quiet nooks to squirrel away in for a little time for themselves, and there are opportunities to talk together about challenging situations. And this allows them to care for themselves and restore their own equanimity in order to continue to offer such care to their patients without burnout. This is compassion infused with equanimity, an unshakable commitment to rest in the presence of suffering without judgment, offering presence as at once balanced and sustainable. And equanimity and joy. Equanimity can loosen the attachment to self that may arise with joy. We can celebrate another's successes just as they are, without the quiet little whisper in our ear that says, I want that too. Without envy or jealousy arising. This one it's subtle, because we almost don't see all of our selfing thoughts. They're so ingrained in us. They're so much a part of who we are and our perspective of the world, which for most of us, most of the time, orients around ourselves. I noticed this just the other day in a small way. My husband went for a meal with some friends of ours we hadn't seen in a while. And I was so happy he was able to catch up with them. And I had the thought that I wished I could go too. I wanted to see them too. Bringing equanimity in helped me to just rest in Dan's happiness, experience it without making it about me. That was just added. Equanimity allows us to really rest in mudita and to take it in, that good feeling of someone else's joy, without making their joy about us, without comparing or controlling or wanting for something more or different within us. When we're able to see these thoughts and feel the purity of mudita, even if just in a moment, those knots of self-reverencing slowly loosen a bit. And slowly. We just celebrated Thanksgiving, which I imagine many of you did this past weekend. And it gave me a great perspective on this understanding of mudita. We had dear friends with their families stay with us for a few days. There were 10 guests from 7 months to over 70 years old. And there were a bunch of dogs running around. And the house became crowded and slightly chaotic in a really wonderful way. We were the hosts, and I could have tried to orchestrate the way I wanted things to go. But instead, I just let it go. We have a saying that we repeat to each other, "My home is your home." An invitation to relax here. And with that, it was easier to settle back, let the day unfold without me in the center of the story, because the day wasn't about me. And so I played with the babies as they explored the house. I watched their grandparents and parents respond. We all had great conversation, shared a meal that everyone contributed to, and afterwards everyone stepped up to clean up. It was so easy to take it all in and enjoy so much mudita and so little self-concern. This is equanimity and joy, a heart that can rest in the joy of the moment without making it about us. So, as much as we teach the Brahma viharas one at a time, I like to think of them really as a three-dimensional dance of our hearts. Metta and equanimity flowing through and around and from our experiences of suffering and joy in a dynamic way. And our hearts responding moment to moment to our experience. And the more we train ourselves to abide with the way things are, the more we're able to experience the capacity of our hearts to dance, to be light, nimble, balanced, and responsive. Thank you all. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jay. Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Lee. Let's take a few moments to turn our attention toward these bodies and just see what they might need for some support. And we might need a little more TLC. Maybe you need to move quickly, maybe slowly. Just letting yourself sense into what would be most supportive to this body today. Some stretching. Maybe some swaying. Sometimes just articulating the fingers, the smaller joints. And whenever you're ready in your time, coming into a posture that's comfortable and supported, and you have enough pillows, blankets, whatever you need to optimize physical comfort today. And if you haven't already, you might lightly close the eyes. And catch a ride on the breath that's already moving. Maybe taking some deeper, slower breaths. And just coming down, down, down into the body, breathing. You might feel for the places where the body is making direct contact with the cushion, the feet on the ground, or the hands resting in the lap. Just feeling for that physical support. Inviting some softening. And you might notice a whole array of sensations in the body of aliveness. And for this short practice, we're orienting in the direction of ease and comfort, perhaps sensing whatever level of ease is already here for you right now. And feelings will be arising and falling away, and thoughts will come and go. And for this practice, we're doing the best we can to not follow or grasp. Just softening and allowing and settling. Kind attention, kind eyes. There is a Tibetan prayer that says, "May the mind for so long, wearied and weakened by trying to make things other than they are,